What's up, guys? This is another Akavir podcast. I'm your host, Jay Strain. Today with us we have server owner Angel Eyes 666.
Hey, how's it going?
And we also got with us head whitelister Bluescope.
And it's a pleasure to be here.
So this is our second podcast. First one was with BU50, and right now we're just going to start with a little bit of personal questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Angel Eyes, where do you live and what's your job occupation?
I live in the U.S. I live in Washington State. I work for a company called Hawken Industries. We build HVACs. They're heating and air conditioning units for like hospitals, skyscrapers. They're really huge units. But yeah, we build those and I test them. So.
And there's a thread on the forum if anyone else is more interested. It's probably an off-topic, I'm pretty sure.
What was that?
The topic or the thread for the your job. I'm pretty sure.
I think the thread is like what I do for a living or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a video. It's interesting. Yeah.
And Bluescope, what about you? What's your situation?
I also live in the U.S., East Coast, New York. I've lived here my entire life. I go to college here. I study microbiology and organic chemistry. If, that makes you sleep badly, I'm sorry, but that's pretty much all I have to tell about myself, besides, like Minecraft and RPing with you guys, I guess.
Where did you guys start RPing, and how long have you been RPing?
For me, I have done it a few times here and there in my life. I'm not an extensive role player. I think I started with Dungeons and Dragons. When I was playing on WoW, there's a little bit of role play there. That's about the extent of my experience with role play.
And you, Bluescope?
I also got my start in Dungeons and Dragons. I was pretty much the DM for my group, and for a while I worked with a group of younger people who are actually somewhat intelligent and were able to do very well. Those were good times. A lot of my RP has been on Minecraft. I really got into it here, and more recently I've taken up LARPing to sort of, just for fun.
I find with Minecraft it's like way better to RP. Well, not necessarily, it can be better because your environment, it's kind of endless, right? Because you can just customize whatever you want as a visual.
Yeah, it's cool. It's what you want to do. You can make it work for you. Like in WoW, if you want to roleplay a specific thing, you can't just make the location. In Minecraft, you can totally do that. So.
Exactly.
Visual representations are very important to role-playing. It helps people get into the groove and such, and you can do a lot of stuff through texting and through Skype, but to really get the feel of it, you need some kind of environment, which is why our builds, which are magnificent, by the way, are so important.
I guess we'll give a round of applause for the builders and head builders here.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so we'll start talking about Akavir now. Angel, you first. Your opinion on the revolution of Valgard.
The revolution of Valgard. I think it's interesting. I think the current sub-faction is an interesting concept. I like the fact that they kind of stood back a little bit, got themselves set up. They didn't really want to be noticed right away, but they actually have a pretty good following going. We're just in the early stages of fleshing out the warfare system and how sub-factions and factions work and things like that. That's part of the beta release. It was kind of complicated, but I don't know. I'm interested to see where this goes.
And what about you, Bluescope?
I really like that this illustrates what can come from good RP or any RP, is that you can generate your own stuff from it. And that's, of course, a big part of what I think about role-playing, but obviously it could have been executed a little bit better, but all in all, I think it's a definite step in the direction that the server should be going.
Yeah.
And what are some changes you would like to see to Akavir? As in RP-wise. Oh boy. I guess we'll let Angel go first then.
What changes I would like to see? I would like players to kind of take things I would like players to have complete control of things. the direction. That's why we introduced factions. We want the server to kind of go where the players take it. If people want to be in a specific faction, that faction will become popular. It'll become a main faction. It'll go where the players take it, you know.
Are you hoping we're gonna get some negative karma or some good people running the server?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, Bluescope.
I mean, I could talk for days about this, obviously. I have been on the forums a lot, obviously. That's my massive post count, but in general, if I could pick one thing I would like to see, it's definitely a higher quality. I mean, since I've become the lead whitelister, I would like to believe that the quality of the players that are being accepted is going to increase, but at the end of the day, it really is up to the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing about that too is right now, like us as staff, we're taking steps to increase the quality of roleplay. I'm trying to advertise to that crowd specifically, the role-playing crowd, not just by saying, hey, all role players welcome. I'm seeking out communities specifically for roleplay and to kind of magnetize that crowd to this, you know, this concept, instead of just regular Minecrafters like, hey, there's I love Skyrim, this is Minecraft, it's like Skyrim, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we want to, we're taking steps now to kind of attract role players, and I think things are going to improve significantly over time. So,
what's your opinion on the recent arrival of many pirate RPers? There's quite a bit, I've noticed.
I know it kind of, I'm not really sure when it exactly started, but we were trying to kind of kick off an event for beta. Some of the ideas was some pirates attacking Septimia, and then we actually asked for a couple volunteers, and I think from there it just kind of blew up into something. I'm not really sure what the exact count of pirates that there is, but I'm sure it's blown up since that moment.
It's trending, really.
Yeah.
And Bluescope, what do you think about it?
There's a few people looking for like ships to own. Want to own like a pirate ship too. So
I think this is a great example of something that I've talked about before, which is trending. Like how one group of people or one like type of character will become very, very popular in a short span of time. And I think what will start to happen is as those characters die off, there's going to be characters that are going to take advantage of it. Like, so let's say you have a whole bunch of pirates coming on the server. Well, that's great. There's going to be a lot of mercenaries and whatnot for hire, and that'll cause political unrest, which will lead to this, which will lead to this, which will lead to this. A superabundance of anything, I feel, really helps the RP move along, because it gives the players something to push against, something to utilize, something to do.
It's all really just like a chain of reactions.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of siding with Blue on a lot of his views because they kind of originate from that idea. It's kind of scary at first when you first get into roleplay because you're like, well, if everybody's a vampire, you know, there's too many vampires, it's going to get boring, it's not going to make any sense. But if you can't constrain people so much because then they feel like they don't have any freedom. But he has a point where if there's too many vampires, pretty soon you'll start getting vampire hunters springing up that are starting to kill off all the vampires, and then pretty soon the vampires aren't so popular to play anymore, so it kind of just takes care of itself if you give it a chance. So we're trying to test that out.
It's the idea of a self-enforcing rule, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Angel, do you want to shed some light on not only the upcoming expansion, but all of them that you have planned so far?
Yeah. Right now we have the Thanefall in the Seski region that's available. When we first built the map, we weren't really sure exactly what we were going to release first, but we had a huge following of people. We decided to open it up early. The area that was finished, we decided to open it up early and just build as they played in it. The next expansion is going to be the Tang Mo. We're going to lay out some more lore for Akavir, maybe introduce a few new things, a few new ideas. After that, we have 2 more expansions. There's the Kamal, which will be the second expansion. They have lore with the Tangmo, like they've been fighting for centuries. And then I think lastly will be the Capoten, and then there may even be expansions after that.
With the expansions,
like I said before, the colleges are like a minor add-on. Like right now we're building Black Harbor. and the Mages College. We're not. I don't know if we're gonna have the Mages College. Actually, we're probably gonna implement it as something else. But there are going to be add-ons and small things, maybe like a Daedric realm or something like that. But as far as regions of the map, those are considered expansions. But we're going to be adding stuff all the time, and there may even be things further out too. So,
Which one are you most excited for?
which expansion?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I would say the Kamal, because there's issues between the Kamal and the Tangmo monkey people. The Kamal thaw out in the spring and attack the Tangmo on a regular basis, and I think it would be really interesting to, once we get those two regions open up, to see how that's going to play out. Like the second the Kamal region opens, there's going to be some serious conflict there, and I'm interested to see. I'm really excited to start building for the Kamal. The Tangmo has some really cool landscapes, but the Kamal, I'm really interested to get some. I don't know. I'm really interested to implement some things up north. See what happens.
What about you, Bluescope? What are you most excited for expansion-wise?
I think the Imperial Island, Black Harbor, was it?
Yep.
I'm really excited for that because the Imperials really aren't a force right now in Akavir. I mean, you have me as the legate, I guess, but people don't understand that it's a very regimented type of thing. It's not just like Valgard, where you can just walk up and stab a guy. There's investigations, there is procedure, it's very structured as opposed to like
it's
the
order
reform stuff we've had going on right now. So if it's implemented properly and we have people RPing there correctly, I think it could be very interesting.
So it's an island, right? It's an island?
Yeah, it's an island.
Transport through boat gonna be the only way, I guess.
Yeah, it's basically just an island between continents. Not exactly sure exactly where it's located between the continents on a map, but we have it as a location that you can transport to.
Huh. Okay. This is more an opinion-based question, but the Empire or the Aldemiri Dominion? What do you guys choose? As in just in general.
I'll let Blue answer.
That's an interesting question. I mean,
he laughed.
The Empire, I think, has always been. It's a very cool concept. Their whole city and societal structure is very different, and I like the Empire. I don't know.
I'm kind of neutral on both. We implemented them because there's some conflict there. We wanted to kind of get the ball rolling. I don't really know who to side with, but I'm interested to see how it plays out.
All right. Bluescope. Why do you want Slodes? I think that's how you pronounce it. Slodes?
Yes.
Yeah. Implemented into the game.
Slodes are a very, very different race, even from the beasts. I mean, you have the snake people, the cat people, the tiger people, but the Slode really is it's not even a mammal. It's very different biologically to start off with. They never die, they can grow infinitely large, but it's their personalities that just are very attractive to me because they're essentially businessmen. Their emotions are completely different from normal people, so that generates a lot of interesting RP, like just the miscommunication there. And their magic, and I don't know if anybody's read up on their lore, but their heroes are not the people who have gone out and gone adventuring. They're the people who have made careful decisions that have led to their own profit. And if you get a couple of those like playing against each other, I think the RP that could be generated from that would be incredibly interesting. Like, sort of like a shadow government, almost.
A side note on special characters like that, those aren't normally races played in the Elder Scrolls series. And to keep things a little organized and familiar to new players as they join, we're probably not going to implement a whole bunch of characters like that, of those type of races.
Just have them locked?
Yeah, we may have them locked for specific people, like role players. Like we were talking about, like a role player reward system for like really good role players. Like we may allow certain people to play special races like that, or if it actually takes off, or if it makes sense, we'll definitely do it. But yeah.
Right. Me and Bu talked about this controversial topic last podcast, and I'd like your opinion on it, Angel, and then yours too, Bluescope. Should Ionith be sold, or even towns in general?
I'd say I can't really say at this point. I know Ionith is a pretty big piece of lore for Akavir.
Really, the only lore.
Yeah, it's pretty big, and its location is right next to Septimia. It doesn't really make sense for that. Plus, we're not trying to sell all of our builds or anything. We'd rather have the players build their own and come up with their own thing. We may even be using it for an event later on in the future, like, who knows, like 2 expansions down the road, so
yeah,
we kind of we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot by giving certain key elements away too early,
And what about you, Bluescope? What do you think?
I think it depends very much on what you mean by sell. I mean, say you have 10 people who get together, 10 mercenaries or whatever, and they look at Septima, they're not allowed to go in because they have like this awful past, they've done all these things against the Legion, they look over and they see Ionith, and so they settle there. Then this outside contractor comes in and offers them an exorbitant amount of money to help them colonize Ionith as a sort of counterpart to Septimia. Now, I don't have any problem with that. Like, RP elements that come in and interact with each other, I'm a big fan of that, obviously. But it's when you're saying, out of character, I want to buy this build from you. I have a big problem with that, because you should shouldn't be able to do that.
We're, like I said, with factions and sub-factions, things are kind of up in the air. We're testing a few things. If somebody roleplays taking over that location and uses it as like a hangout or something like that, that's totally fine. If somebody wants to say they control that region, that's fine. But as long
as they don't alter it.
Yeah, we allow people to build in certain areas. We allow people to purchase land, have land perms, and protect their builds and things like that. Have bases and things. That's just one we don't know for sure exactly if we're going to just do that. We don't think it's fair to just give it away that quickly to somebody. But if somebody, we're not saying you cannot roleplay it or you cannot take control of it. But as far as just building it, right now we're going to leave it as it is to see exactly what happens where things go. So.
All right. A little off topic of Akavir, we're gonna kind of go towards Suf or Sins of Our Fathers, because some players who aren't from that server, which was your old server, don't quite know what it is, but they hear about it. So, yeah, Bluescope was an admin on that one. Caspos is asking. He gave us a set of questions because he never played on it. His first question is, what the hell is Suf?
Suf is a server I created before Akavir. It's a Fallout Sins of Our Fathers. It's just a Fallout roleplay server based in Utah after the events of New Vegas. You kind of have to be a little bit with Fallout lore to kind of understand it. But there was, I think there was a game that actually didn't go through that was being developed by, I forgot what the name of the company was. It's an actual game in real life. It was before, I think, Fallout 3 was going to come out. Anyway, they were using lore around that region, and it was lore that nobody even used. And then Fallout 3 came out, and Fallout New Vegas came out, and there's just this there's this lore and this info and this story just sitting there, and we kind of came across it a little bit. We're like, this would make perfect sense. And before we even, it was really weird how we came up with Suf. Before we even came across that information, we had already decided to do Utah and things like that. Things just kind of fell into place, but we had stumbled across that lore, so it made sense. But that's basically what it is. It's just a Fallout roleplay server. So.
And how'd you like the community on it?
I love the community. That's a lot of the community is still with us now.
Yeah.
It was very active. They had very strong ties to it. It was a community just starting out. It was developing. I don't know. I love the community still. So.
What about you, Bluescope? What was your intake on the community? Or on the server in general?
A lot of things to a lot of people. I wouldn't change a single thing about what happened on that server. Well, I mean, there's a few things, but the community... Okay, let me give you an idea here of what the community ended up being. I've counted, of the people who were on that server, 7 of them have started their own servers. The quality of roleplay was just outstanding. If we can get near what the quality of Sins of Our Fathers was, I think we'll definitely be on the right track.
I partially agree with that, yeah.
Alright, so Caspos also wants to know, given that it was a post-apocalyptic, not with swords and shields, how were guns and killing people handled?
The texture pack we used actually had a shotgun in place of an arrow, so there was basically just shotguns and shotgun shells. But it was roleplay, so you basically could roleplay, rail guns and different other things. But that's basically how we did that. It was a roleplay server. It wasn't a PvP.
Yeah, it was different too. With Akavir, we have like actual items that we're changing the names through anvils, right? Like to RP approve them. But on Soof, it was just...
On Soof, I don't even think there was anvils back then. So
no, it was just you just RP'd an item and just held a gun to look cool.
Yeah. Well, also the texture pack was completely redone, and then we tweaked it a bunch too. We took several different steps in that. We had, we had Nuka-Colas, we had everything from Fallout. We had like jetpacks, and they would actually work, and it was pretty cool. We didn't really have to have roleplay specific items except for certain armors and weapons, I guess.
If I might interject here, the gunplay it's very different from Akavir. You don't just walk up to someone and boop. There was a lot of cover, and in general, if you weren't behind cover, you had power armor.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much how it worked.
It's kind of hard to avoid a bullet.
Yeah,
it's really interesting to watch.
It's just so radically different. The combat systems, it's not really comparable. It was fun as hell, but...
Caspos also asks, what was the greatest things that happened there? Oh boy. This is going to be a fun question.
I will not get used to that laugh. Bluescope, go ahead.
It was a magical place. It was, we took the lore that was given to us and just expanded in whatever direction we wanted to go in. And really, genetics was a big part of it for me. I played I'm not going to go into it, obviously, but I played a character who emphasized heavily on genetics, was able to set up a shop in what essentially was the New Vegas of Utah, Grantsville. Set up a whole faction there, completely customized. I set up a mob from absolutely nothing, completely undirected, completely player-oriented. That was my biggest achievement on that server. But really, you had people going off and doing whatever you wanted. We had a build, we had a tower that got RP'd in all the time, that just came from nothing. We had cities that sprung up. It was a very special place. It was impressive. Yeah.
I think the reason it took off like that was because of factions. That's kind of why we introduced them into Akavir. It's like, okay, here's the place, here's your factions, and then we're like, just go with it, and then people took it in different directions. We have a little bit of server lore, but it didn't really, direct every single, aspect of RP. It was mostly the players, and that's kind of what we're trying to get back to at Akavir. Akavir is pretty lore heavy, but we are trying to leave it open for people, and we're trying not to write too much lore for the races. We're trying to leave it open a little bit for players. We're finding ways to implement that. So
I think with Sins of Our Fathers too, what made it so easy to just have fights and all that was the fact that it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland.
There's no law.
Yeah, shit happens. That's how it just gets shrugged off. So you could shoot a guy in the face
in the street.
Yeah, you could
poor,
kill a
the
guy.
Hungry, your tired masses,
and no one would really care. All right, we're gonna move back to Akavir. Can you give out an exact date on the expansion pack, and if not, just a rough date?
No, I can't. I can say that we had Thanefall, we were pretty active though. We were pretty active. We had builders building around the clock. It was, I think, the Thanefall region was ready in about a month or two, about a month and a half. It was pretty much ready. We were tweaking a bunch of different things, but I'd like to say it might take like 2 months to build or finish building, and that depends on how active builders are. But I can't give an exact time frame, and I wouldn't want to because I don't want to, give people an exact time frame and then push it out like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Is it just head builders that are building, or?
It's head builders right now. Right now, we're setting it up so builders can build without cheating. It's kind of hard because we're trying to let them build in the same exact world.
Because they could spawn in money and all that.
Yeah, there's ways to avoid that, and we're looking into it right now. We actually think we found a way. I just have to set it up. But we're trying to let them build in the same world because we can have them build in multiverse, have them copy builds over. But it's kind of a pain, and it's not really exciting because they're just building in the middle of nowhere. But we'd like them to build in actual locations so they can pick a spot and see exactly how it's going to look. We want them to be able to jump in and out really easy. But I think we have a system. We should have it up and running pretty soon. But like talking with Daveless, I felt like we were kind of running behind. But there's a lot on our plate right now, and there's a lot of things like we're doing like Black Harbor and stuff like that. Things are moving pretty well. People aren't demanding for the expansion, but we are going to start on it very soon. So,
just out of curiosity, is it your birthday today?
Yeah, today is my birthday.
With Daveless too?
I think he has the same birthday as me, and I think there may be 1 or 2 other people too. When we first started building Sooth, actually, very early on, we had like 4 people with the same birthday around the same time. We had like a little tiny birthday party in the server. We had the diner was like the only thing that was built in the server. I don't know if people would remember that. It was right outside of, I think it was Jericho.
I remember the diner. A lot of good RP. A lot of good RP.
There's a little diner there, and we had some birthday cakes. But yeah, I think it is Daveless's birthday too, so happy birthday, Daveless.
Okay, so for you and Daveless, I have this little buttons app, and I hope it plays out good. Holy shit, that was demonic, kind of.
Was that like the chipmunks?
How old the angel?
I have a personal question. Your name seems like it has duality to it. You have angel eyes, and then you have the devil's number. Why?
It's really not. I am a deep person, but I don't think that is that deep. The name Angel Eyes is actually from The Good and the Bad and the Ugly.
I knew it!
Yeah. A few people spot it here and there. That was kind of my inspiration for that. I really love that movie. When I play Fallout, I kind of tend to put my character in that person's shoes. I don't know. That's where I got the name. And then 666 is just a stupid thing I do for things. As you just have to have like a number at the end of your name. There's no like specific reason, but it does.
Might as well put the devil's number.
Yeah, it's like, what number? Well, I'll do this one here. Yeah. So, but it does have duality. Yeah.
And Bluescope, any relevance to your name at all?
Indeed. So as I sat there, a young strapping lad of, 16, 15, I cast about the room looking for my character name. And my eyes alighted on my blue Nerf gun. And I wasn't about to call myself Blue Nerf Gun.
Blue Nerf.
And then I locked on the scope, and then it was Bluescope.
There you go.
Also, blue's my favorite color.
Well, there you go. Someone just inboxed me some questions. Would you look at that?
Huh.
It's MyCraft77. He inboxed me 3 questions. Will there be someone playing a Daedric prince later on? Not just an event, acting like a prince, meddling with the lives of mortals. If so, will you give away a prize?
There already has been a Daedric prince. Molag Bale showed up and started some crap. And a few creatures popped in and were subdued pretty quickly. by some players, and they actually, I think they got a Dater heart out of it. But yeah, we are doing that. The staff may step in a little bit. We may give somebody permission to go ahead and just jump right into it. I mean, as long as I really don't have a problem if a player wants to do it. I don't want I don't want a million Daedric princes showing up because it does kind of organize. But if somebody does a good job at it and it's not overpowered and it's just for like a limited event, I mean, it's totally cool with me. But yeah, the staff can totally jump in. I mean, when I was actually Molag Bale when we did that, I had a Oblivion portal appear and we had different things and there was lightning and we made it all fancy and pretty for the players. So but yeah, we do stuff like that. We may have a few things.
Okay, the second question, I'm gonna let Angel Eyes go first, and then Bluescope can rant because I know he'll want to. What do you think? What do you think of the quality of RP on the server? We kind of already talked about that, but just in case we forgot anything.
I think it needs to improve. I think the thing that really sucks though is the players that play Minecraft range from like age, 6 to people, maybe a few people in their 30s, give or take, and there's probably more players towards the teenager range. So that's kind of, that's just what's going to happen. We're going to get people within that range, and there's not a lot of people that are good at roleplay in their early teens. There are some. I have met some that are great role players, but like I said, it's just the demographic, I guess, of people. But we are going to, we're aiming for the more mature roleplay audience, regardless of age. It's just mature roleplay, people that are a little more experienced. But I do think it needs to improve, but we're working on it. So, but there is some great roleplay going on. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't think it's all completely immature. We are just trying to improve it. So we would like to see it improve.
And Bluescope, fire away.
All right. Obviously, I've been made lead whitelister, so I'm going to start cracking down on this a lot. But, I mean, and I don't have anything against the 14 to 12-year-old age range, but it's just the quality of RP on Akavir, and I've made a post about this, and I've told people a million times, it's not where I would like to see it, and I'm sure it's not where the staff would like to see it, and I'm sure it's not what Akavir deserves. The staff has put so much time and love and effort and just everything they have into the server to make it great for the players to play, to give them an excellent background, fantastic lore, all this excellent stuff, but it doesn't really matter if you're not willing to practice role-playing, to become better at role-playing, because I firmly believe that everyone has the ability to become a good role-player. It's there in your brain, you have the imagination, you have the power to become a good role-player. Like anything, you need to practice at it. But if you just have people that are flat-out refusing help, then there's nothing really we can do for you.
Yeah, I will say, compared to other servers, even mainstream, I mean, I guess you would say we are mainstream, but there are some, there's a few high-end servers out there, and they say they're roleplay servers, but I've seen the kind of roleplay they have, and it is just appalling. We do have a pretty decent roleplay going on, but we do want it to improve, so.
We can always do better.
Well, yeah, I would love to see us do better.
And Minecraft, his third question, he is a whitelister, by the way. He asks, what do you think of the whitelisters and how we whitelist? Our standards and such. Blue, your head whitelister.
I'm really closely watching the whitelisters. I'm only going to start judging them from what they do from this point on, because I've really had no say in what they've done in the past. But from here on in, they're going to be held to a much higher standard and only let a very certain quality of players in. Like, the power gaming definitions are often wrong. It's not power gaming is not being overpowered. It's forcing another action on a player for good or bad. It's forcing an action on another player is what it is. And I've said this a million times, but I mean, for some reason that's just not getting across. And some applications aren't perfect, and I'm not asking for perfect, but there is a certain quality here that we should expect from the players and from the whitelisters. Like, two-word responses are not going to do from this point on. If the player is going to take the time to make the application, you have to take the time as the staff member and as the first staff member that they're interacting with to converse with them, to work with them to get their application up to snuff. And if they can't do it after 10 times, or they just ignore what you're saying, then they shouldn't be whitelisted. Then they're just going to be denied, and tell them thanks for trying, come back later, make a new application.
Metagaming is another big issue too. People, it's kind of hard to avoid, but there's people that really use it to their advantage, and it kind of sucks. But we are trying to crack down on players and have the staff hold a higher standard, have a higher standard for everything in general, just the staff and the players. But metagaming is an issue, so is power gaming. It's one thing to see a tiny bit of metagaming happen, but power gaming should never be an issue. That's like pure selfishness and laziness altogether. I'd like to see less of both of those.
And besides all this going on, Angel, are you still enjoying being the server owner for the server?
Definitely. I love the community. I love the server. I have lots of plans. I have lots of inspiration. I'm really excited to see what the players do. We keep trying to hand them the keys in certain situations. That's basically the plan. But yeah, I'd love it. I love being the owner. We may do something else, something bigger in the future. So I'm here to stay. The server's here to stay. So
why'd you even pick Akavir? Like, not even just out of Elder Scrolls like places, but why Elder Scrolls in general did you choose to start it up?
Well, that kind of was the beginning of me actually trying to start a server in general. I played on an Elder Scrolls roleplay server before, and I was kind of let down by I was excited to join. I was let down by what I seen. I was let down by the quality of roleplay. I didn't really like where people were taking it. I'm like, okay, so this is possible. People can create a server based on an awesome idea, and they can roleplay it. I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I gotta see this. And I try it out, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. These people don't know what they're doing. They have terrible ideas. They're not even trying. They're not even building anything. So I'm like, I can definitely do better. Like, I may not have a whole bunch of experience doing this, but I know I can do much better. And it all started with Fallout, but around the same time that we started Sins of Our Fathers, I had the idea for Akavir for some time, and I kind of just kept it in my pocket, not really saying it to anybody. I didn't want somebody to run with that idea of Akavir and start it, so I couldn't do it later on. So I just kind of held on to it, didn't really tell anybody. I told like one or two people a few months before I started Akavir. But yeah, it's been an idea for a long time. I'm a huge fan of Elder Scrolls. I love the lore. Like, I get really in depth with the games, and I just wanted to see what we could do.
Bocash177, moderator on the server, he asked, who do you think will win the third faction slot?
Actually, in this podcast, I was supposed to stop the voting and choose the winner.
Okay, wait. We'll save that for the end then.
I can actually do that right now.
No. We'll save it for the end.
Okay, we can do that then.
Let's see. We missed anything? And just a heads up, guys. Try to post as many questions as you can for every podcast. I'm gonna think that there's a lot of people wanting to do podcasts. Like Selber wants to do one. Even like some non-staff members. I think I might do one that has like maybe just for like the fun questions, like who do you think like's the most OP character, about like not ones that really pertain to the staff. So I might get one of those. Just try to, when the thread's up, try to post as many questions as possible.
I'm encouraging people on the other call to just send you questions right now to make your life more difficult.
No, thanks.
About podcasts and player run things like that. I'm really interested to see somebody make some YouTube videos. We're not trying to say no, you cannot make a YouTube video. Like, if somebody wants to like do a let's play or just like show some footage or whatever, their build or whatever, or if they want to do some podcasts, like I am completely supportive of that. So if anybody wants to do anything, go for it.
Um, I think Stromby said he's working on a way to get the YouTube channel as a community thing, so community, like, people can upload, like, any player can upload. Like, maybe it gets approved. I'm not sure how it's going to work. Do you know anything about that?
Not exactly sure how we're going to actually do that, but we will. If a player wants to upload something, we can put it on that channel, definitely. We could just compile everybody's stuff into one channel. That's totally cool. But I'd like to see some more player content.
And I guess we could announce the winner. You already have it in mind?
Well, it's not. I'm not deciding it. It's a.
Oh yeah, it's a vote.
All I have to do is look at it and go, "Oh, who's the winner? Oh, it's this guy." Okay.
Okay. Well,
Let me.
I'll get the drum roll music.
I don't know. We could hold off on the end and then talk about. Well, I think there were two main topics we're going to talk about. One was Akavir, and the other is the other.
No, it's actually too late because I locked the thread, so it's in effect now. The winner of the third sub-faction...
Wait. I got a drum roll for the buttons. Up.
Dun, 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 dun. Looks like Light of Akavir won by 15 votes. Korlak Storm was 13, so they were only 2 behind. So, yeah, they will be the third sub-faction. We'll help them set that up pretty quickly. But things are liable to change. Like, that won't be necessarily permanent if, they get their butts kicked in RP or whatever, or events, different events can happen. Definitely change. Somebody else could easily rise to power. That's our system. So. But congratulations, guys.
Yeah, congratulations. Well, since Bluescope likes to ruin my life, a bunch of people are sending me questions on Skype now. So, there's just a few little questions. Reedster, another moderator, just asked, if Angel was to make a third server based on a game, which game would it be?
I don't know. I haven't really thought that far ahead.
I have a suggestion, maybe, if you want to.
What's your suggestion?
Pokemon.
Yes, definitely. Pokemon. Yes. No. Hell no.
Yes, do Pokemon.
I don't even know enough about Pokemon to do that. I don't even know how we would do that.
Well, there goes your childhood.
Yes. But, I'm not really sure. I don't want people to lose confidence in me as the server owner if I start opening up new servers, but I kind of want to give people that idea. I would like to open up a few here and there, maybe something that isn't even roleplay. I would like to get a group of servers going, maybe over time. Fallout, I love Fallout, I love Elder Scrolls. We may try something that isn't based on a game and it's actually something completely original, or we may go back to, something we've done before. So
yeah, maybe something Firefly. That'd be cool. In space.
I actually don't want to give out too much information. I kind of hang on to these ideas tight until
like you said earlier.
But I do have something along those lines, Bluescope.
Mindboggler asks, what is with all these damn apps?
We did a vote before. We do a lot of polls in the community because we like to hear their feedback. It's important to know what your community is wanting. It seems like actually people are okay with the amount of apps because it keeps things organized. We will do away with things that are unnecessary, and we are taking a few steps right now actually to only keep certain ones that we actually need. But we're trying not to make it too appy.
All right.
Obviously, you know what my opinion is on that, but
yeah,
for the folks at home who are keeping score, this will be the 3,432nd time I've said this. We don't need many applications that we have right now, and obviously, I mean, I see the purpose for them, but there has to be a voice in the back of your head saying, "We don't need this," and I've been elected to be that voice, so.
Yeah, we'll get rid of things we don't need.
All right. I guess that's it for this podcast today. You guys want to say goodbye?
I have an announcement, actually. It's not over. God.
I think we should just screw the announcement. Just let the people think.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do it.
So your announcement, looking on the forum, it says blank A blank blank T blank O blank. That we have to figure. It's like a decipher or something.
Well, somebody already deciphered it. It's basically said it'll be interesting to whoever has a whatever that was. It's actually Vault Boy. Whoever has a Vault Boy may be interested in this announcement. We, like I said about future servers, we're actually going to be taking steps possibly to do something with Sins of Our Fathers.
Speculations.
Yeah, we're putting something in motion right now. More details will be out later, but we are going to be doing something with that. So there'll be more information on that later. But it's basically a green light on Soof right now. So from our end.
As in a revival, or just?
More details will be released later. It's probably going to be, I guess you'd say, Soof 2, in a way.
Soof the sequel.
Yes.
Okay, well, Angel, you are a lovely man for doing that.
Yes, indeed.
So,
and I mean, Sons of Our Father, so much lore, so much delicious, juicy content.
As
so
long
much
as
to do.
As long as we get enough people excited about the project, and no matter what, Akavir is my #1 priority. Any server I do that I'm involved with is going to be my #1 priority. So I'm not leaving Akavir to start Soof. It's going to be completely supported. We're going to have staff or whatever on whatever we decide to do. So we're not going to run with it until the ball is actually rolling and we have enough people on board. So.
All right, and I think I've depressed a few people by saying that we're ending the podcast soon when they've sent you such a storm of questions.
Well, let's see. Mindboggler just sent me stuff. I haven't even read it yet, so I guess I'll just read it right now. Is necromancy an okay thing to do in RP? If said, resurrect a character no longer possess the personality and intelligence of their former existence.
Let Blue answer that one.
Blue?
Science! No, seriously, magic is a part of the lore, it's a part of the RP, and it's a very important part. I think that if a character were brought back, it wouldn't have the personality. It might have some of the memories, I guess. I don't know, something, but it wouldn't be a player character that you would be resurrecting. The player wouldn't jump back into that body. I think it would just be an NPC kind of thrall to add to your army. But that's just, speculation.
All right. Yeah, so some people are putting stupid questions right now, like, how is a baby formed? I personally don't know the answer to that.
How is a baby?
Well, you see, kids.
Okay, but anyways,
I got one. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Well,
I don't want to know.
A Klondike bar. That depends. What are you offering?
Yeah, I think we covered most all the topics in this podcast. So.
Yeah, so I guess it's bye for now. Angel Eyes, if you want to say goodbye.
Thanks. I want to say thank you for everybody for being in this community and keeping us going. I'm excited to see where this goes.
And Bluescope, your farewells.
Stay classy, Akavir.
Perfect. Like this video on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. If we had a Twitter, I'd say follow it. Make sure you're part of our forums. And I think that's about it. This is ending the podcast. Only on Akavir.